Hi guys, welcome to the Killian Family Homestead. Well, I wanted to answer a few people. This tomato plant's growing so well. It's starting to blow over. I need to tie a string up and over. I just wanted to give you an aquaponics update and answer some questions that I've received via email and through YouTube, as well as to just give you an overall update on the plan. It's doing really well, I would say. There's some size to them, there's some girth to them. They are, let me just go ahead and answer the questions, okay? First question, how many fish do I have in this system, in each barrel? So I have 35 fish in each one of these barrels. How big is the barrel? It's 100 gallons. Way too many fish per barrel. So I'm gonna be harvesting, a lot of these fish to try to get less and less fish in this system. As you can see though, the plants really love this system because there's so many fish in it. A lot of ammonia and stuff for them to consume. Okay, what do I feed them? I feed them Aquamax pellets, or kind of the sized row feed pellets here. And you'll see this is where I store the food right here. And I have different colors. So the Aquamax Tilapia grow out pellets are these dark brown ones, and then I have these green ones and these brown ones. So the green ones is a koi fish feed, and the light brown ones is just an overall pond fish. And I buy those pellets on the cheap at some of the big box stores. The protein content per serving is not ideal. But the Aquamax Tilapia feed I found is ideal, and it's nice. So although it doesn't look like it in this layer, if you go down a few layers down below as I mix it up, what I do is I put 50%, I'm kind of right in the middle of the layers here, but I do 50% of this container in Aquamax Tilapia food pellets, 25% the pond fish, 25% the koi fish, and I just find that the overall protein content in that mixture is sufficient, and it doesn't cost as much. So, especially because the Aquamax Tilapia grow out food, I buy off of Amazon, and then they ship it over to me priority mail, so I have to pay for shipping and stuff like that. That's what I meant. See that right there? Then there was a top layer about like this of the Aquamax grow out, and I just haven't mixed it up very well. There's 90 fish inside of these big 320 gallon tanks. Ironically enough, the 90 fish in 320 gallons are growing out much slower than the 35 fish in 100 gallons. I have no idea. Probably has something to do with the more food per fish quantity. But again, you guys, I'll remind you, I'm not a professional at this. I am experimenting and trying to make this work. All right, total fish in the system, there's about 280 to 300 in these bottom 8 barrels. There is about 100 and about 100 over there. So what I typically say is I have 500 fish. The reason why I say that is these 2 tanks are stocked with the babies from the late last fall and winter, and so they haven't grown out as well because there's a lot of fish per tank, as you can see here. They're all tucked back there, and what I really need to do is just start to pick out the smaller ones, put them in a barrel, move the larger ones of significant size into a specific barrel, and just do some overall monitoring. Okay, let me go back to some of the emails and see what the other questions are. How big do they get when I eat them? I'm typically shooting for 8 to 10 inches. Okay, then I just use an electric Rapala knife and I fillet the fillet out, and 8 to 10 inches is nice. It should take them about 8 months to 9 months to get there. It's taking me about a year, just by the practice, the growing practices that I have. Plants are doing fairly well. Some of these are shocked. I put these 2 at the top. The level is much shallower up there. Didn't do it. I'm trying to revive them, but I might lose them. I did this on a lot of them. You gotta wait for those roots to get deeper to put them up here. Yeah, that's a bummer deal. Boy, the tomatoes just do really well in this. Strawberries, pumpkins, tomatoes, different types of mint. There's mint really likes aquaponics, it's doing well. We got a chili pepper. Oh, that's a bell pepper, I'm sorry. Curry kale. This is just a volunteer weed that I found. Just curious on what that's going to be. There's bee balm, kind of a flowering plant there. Just odds and ends. This kind of backside is where the plants that need a lot of help are found. Up front here, I've got different types of basil and stuff like that. Here's the pineapple sage, oregano. This is hot spicy oregano. This is a sweet marjoram, marjoram. I don't know how to say it. Rosemary doesn't look like it's loving it too much. Cucumber. Yeah. Okay. I keep them warm with an 800 watt heater that's dangling into this top media filter up here. This is a temperature gauge. Once it hits a certain temperature, it clicks the heater on. I actually have two 800 watt heaters dangling in both of them with the temperature reader right here. I like this, it worked really well. Not really well, but it worked to my needs in the wintertime. Keeping tilapia indoors is a huge help from a maintenance of the temperature and the water standpoint, but you know, obviously you have to have heaters, especially in the northern climates where I'm found. How do you keep the water clear and clean? That is such a great question. It's all about water flow. It's all about filtering. It's about movement. It's about trapping the waste, solids versus micro waste. So here is the radial flow filter. The way it works is that you have a solids lifting outlet. Water is constantly flowing into this barrel, but the only way for water to flow out is to go out this tube and come down here into a larger 4-inch pipe. Makes its way around here, and then it goes slightly up, and so it points upwards into a standpipe right there. Look at all that waste right there. Once the waste bubbles up, it gets redirected by the edges of the buckets and eventually gets heavy enough that it pushes itself and settles at the bottom. This is how I get the bigger waste product out. Then hopefully the cleaner water, as you can see it's not perfectly clean, floats into here. 3 1.5-inch pipes. Why didn't I just use a big pipe? Because I didn't really have all this planned out perfectly. So I wanted to increase flow into here. So now I have effectively 4.5 inches of water flowing into here. Boom. This goes into the moving bed biofilter. You see how dark? That is a lot of beneficial bacteria housed on these media pieces that are converting nitrites to nitrates, or ammonia to nitrites, nitrites to nitrates. So that's the really good part about it. These things were as white as this when we first bought. Now they are housing lots of beneficial bacteria. There is a large pipe in the center of this with hundreds of slits cut into it, and the water flows down into it, and then eventually there's the black pipe. You see it flows into the pump. The pump pushes it through a sand filter. The water then flows back up this pipe. It's directed by this manifold into the 4 distinct areas. Some of it flows right there. Hey fish. Okay, pushes the water in there. There's oxygenation that's happening right there. I also have a secondary one. Lots of oxygen means the smell is not going to be as bad. Okay, here's these fish. Same thing happening there. Okay, now these two push the water into these top media tanks. There's hundreds of feet of linear feet of baling twine stuffed in there. That catches a lot of the other solids as well, and eventually the water rises and spills over into the standpipe, which feeds each one of these barrels, and then the cycle continues. So how I trap and clean the water: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and I flush the water out, utilizing the nutrient-rich water on my garden, plants, and grass and stuff like that. Trying to be organic in all serving here. This system needs to be a multifaceted beneficial system where I have fish growing, I have plants growing, and I have ways to fertilize my lawn and stuff for free as well. The only input I have, which is a significant input, I mean you have to love what you're doing here, is electricity and food. The water, this is just irrigation water, so it's free. But as you can see here, these fish are a little shy with all the sunlight, but as you can see here, it's working pretty well. It's not perfectly clean. I never intended to be perfectly clean. Let me show you. I have this little duckweed project going as well. Being fed in with this, dropping back in to the tank below. But I put 12 little pieces of duckweed about 2 weeks ago, and now it's converted into this and this and that and that. I mean, it's just fascinating. I'm just really interested to see how fast this populates this whole tank, because duckweed grows very quickly. I probably missed some of the questions. I'm sorry. We'll do more updates, but one thing I updated is that the little tiny tubes kept getting clogged with some of these solids, as you see here. So I converted all the manifold over into these larger pipes with a nozzle to control flow, and it's working a lot better. And the flow is enough that it's actually, you know, flowing a decent amount of water back in here. So yeah, my next project will be to harvest fish, move fish into their respective size bin, label them that way, that sort of thing. That'll be a lot easier for me. There's a male, got his territory and his pink flare on. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.